Today I'm very excited to share a new Syndicate card with you featuring an iconic character from the Witcher series. Once one of the most influential and intelligent men in the North who's forced to flee only to later return in disguise. I'm talking about none other than Sigi Reuven, of course. Let's take a look at how this new card incorporates the former Spymaster skills into Gwent. Sigi Reuven Mastermind is a 12 provision 4 power gold Syndicate unit. Fittingly, he's a human, agent, and aristocrat. He has Deploy, look at Collusion and a random card from each gang in your deck, and then play one. The current gangs are Blind Eyes, Cut-Ups, Crown Splitters, Firesworn, Salamandra, and Tidecloaks, but not Witch Hunters. If you pay his Tribute 9, you'll play 2 of the cards instead. This tribute costs 2 less for each unique gang you control. It can also be reduced by off the books or completely negated by Madame Louisa. The ability to play cards from your deck is always very powerful, and being able to play 2 at once is almost unheard of. His most obvious synergy is with Collusion, one of my personal favorite cards in all of Gwent and a very strong card in its own right if set up correctly. The developers were kind enough to share a clip of this in action for us to take a look at today. Here we'll have 5 gang categories among the cards you control: Crown Splitters, Cut-Ups, Firesworn, Salamandra, and Tidecloaks. Because of that, Sigi Reuven Mastermind Tribute is free. The cards with multiple gang categories are very handy for this. With just Bloody Good Friends and Mutant Makers, his tribute's already reduced by 8. We'll go ahead and play a Blind Eyes card for the full setup, and then we'll play Collusion. In this case, without even using the Shady Vendor Tribute, it's still a huge point, swing 24 points and generating 6 coins. Collusion obviously has fantastic synergy with Sigi Reuven Mastermind, as you'll always see as an option if it's in your deck, and Sigi will always give you access to a missing gang category you need for the full Collusion effect. Units like Bloody Good Friends that have multiple gang categories are exceptionally good for this, both for reducing the tribute cost further and enabling a full power Collusion with less cards. That's far from the only possibility with this versatile card though. A key point of the effect is it shows you a card from each gang, not a random card for each gang. This means you have exactly one card from a gang in your deck, you're guaranteed to see it. For example, if Harold Gore is the only Crown Splitter in your deck, Sigi will always give you the option of playing him. You can also leverage this with deck building to include only one card from a specific gang if you always want to play it with Sigi. Just like Mastermind in the card's name suggests, this opens the way for some incredibly potent combos in deck building. Since Sigi can play any card, not just units, you can do things like combo Tunnel Drill in a crime card. Pickpocket comes to mind as it's a Blind Eyes card that generates 8 coins and would immediately allow Tunnel Drill to do 12 damage. Combining this with off the books or other leader charges could allow you to do even up to 24 damage right away, which is crazy. Other options include playing Azar and an engine card in the same turn to keep them safe. Dropping Bincy, Saul, Tunnel Drill, or even Freakshow behind Scarabs in a single turn are all scary things to go up against. Even without Azar, cards like Bincy can become very difficult to remove if a coin generating card is played in the same turn by Sigi. There are a ton of potential options here, and I'm excited to see what everyone comes up with. Even outside of specific cards like these, Sigi Reuven Mastermind's Deploy effect can be good by itself. Just playing 2 bronze units in a turn is high tempo on its own, especially allowing you to do double poisons. There are limitations to Sigi Mastermind though. Paying 9 coins to play a second card is very expensive. This can be mitigated by his own cost reduction, especially with dual gang units, but really benefits from setup. Playing 1 card can be somewhat compared to Royal Decree. In that comparison, you're spending 3 extra provisions for 4 points and trading the consistency of Decree for any unit in exchange for Sigi's 1 card from a gang. If there's a specific card you want to play but your deck's full of cards from that gang, Sigi probably won't find it for you either. The key then is to have your deck set up in a way that Sigi Mastermind works for you. Of course, if you're running Collusion, you'll always have a strong card to play with Sigi if you do have the units of the right categories already out on the board. Overall, Sigi Reuven Mastermind is an incredibly interesting and potentially devastating card I'm thankful the developers gave me the opportunity to reveal. I really can't wait to test them out for myself. Thanks for watching, and I'll end this video with the premium art for the card. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the expansion.